somebody's
We
got
can kind of hear each other talk, but
purgatory.
yeah. Oh, great. That's not a good analogy, Kate.
Why do we not have a countdown?
Yeah, what the stories. I keep trying to fix my hair and hope that one of my extensions doesn't
You see tell you're wearing them.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but it does say that we are live. Let me pull up YouTube. I don't understand why we didn't have a countdown though.
So have we been live this whole time then, Sharon?
No.
Saturday Night Live is calling.
Everybody knows your secrets.
Jeff, no, we're live.
We're live.
Oh, good.
I don't know what happened to the countdown, but hey.
You know, Sharon, it was really odd when I first came on. I could see you guys talking amongst yourselves, and I was not on yet, like it normally does.
So we're live right now. Welcome to Wholesale Hotties. Oh my God, episode where ladies in real estate talk about real estate. My name is Sharon Lee Smith. I am your MC for the evening. Co-host with me is Monique Fell and Kate Gomes. And tonight we have an amazing special guest. Her name is Christina Reese, and she's right here from Virginia. And one of my good friends, and I'm so excited to have her on. Christina, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on, Christina.
Super excited. I hope I don't say anything that gets me in trouble.
I hope you do. I kind of like it when that happens.
I do too. Exactly.
So
Christina, tell us where you're from, what you do, who you are. Take it away.
So where am I from? I'm from Oregon originally, and then I moved to Virginia a while ago. And I was like, I'm going to do real estate. So I came here to do real estate. I was a hairdresser, and I would sell the garbage in the houses.
Wait, what?
Right.
I would sell the garbage. That's how I started real estate. I was a hairdresser with a full book, and I decided to give it all up. And I had 4 little bags, and I met this investor, and he would have me sell garbage out of like the houses. So like a hoarder's house.
Hoarder houses, you'd sift through, and anything of value
so
you would like auction off or whatever. Yard sales.
Very wealthy man, but he wanted to make sure every book got accounted for. So what I did is I would get like garbage bags, and people love going through other people's stuff.
Yes, they do.
I don't care who, like they love it. So you give somebody a black garbage bag and you send them into a full house. What are they going to do? They're going to have a blast. They had a blast. And so the garbage would get taken out for me. And then, so that's how I started in real estate.
I love
that.
That
is the first time I've heard that one, Christina. I have to say, I think this is going to be a fun night.
First time.
So we got started in real estate by packing garbage. Got it. Love it.
I had to like prove my value. And I was kind of, I wouldn't say I was like prideful, but I was good at my profession before. So when I came in, it was like, yeah, come on, I can do this. And then you learn.
How long did you play with garbage?
I played with garbage for a while until I started to, then I got my real estate license. So then I became like a buyer's agent, and they would it was back when the market kind of had just shifted. And so on my Friday nights for like fun, I would write contracts. And then I would coupon. So I would go couponing and write contracts. It was really sad.
We always said, I was a realtor in California, and we always said, if you need something to put you to sleep, here's a real estate contract.
Exactly.
Yeah, so REOs, all of them. So I would just wrote a ton of REOs. So I got really good at printing off all the pages. Each bank wanted a different packet, and so we got used to writing that. But it got good at reading the contracts. You understood them better. That's where it started, and then.
And that's really amazing that you got into real estate at that time, because I think that was a time where a lot of realtors were failing and getting out, and you found the right niche in there that was needed and got to work.
We went straight to investing. So I really didn't even, I think, list my first house until I had already invested forever. And then it was like I was trying to play catch up with the other realtors because they're like FHA, and I'm like, oh, cool, what's that? So yeah, but then then you start learning stuff. I don't know if it was backwards or whatever. So then I've always done auction.
Not backwards in our world.
Like, we didn't get to learn like everybody else. Like we learned really like secretive. Like you couldn't tell anybody what you did. Like it was like the mafia.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would go to the door and they'd be like,
It's like horrid.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't tell us anything. Just go to the door and get the lowest contract you could. It's literally
the real estate mafia.
My husband and I would be fighting. I would say, okay, he'd go, if you go to the door, I'll buy you a shirt. We were poor. We're so poor. It's like, I'll buy you a shirt. He never got me a shirt. But we did. We built a portfolio, and we were paid $1,500 a house. Didn't matter the size of the profit on it. It was $1,500 a house.
This was a different investor you were working for.
Right. So it was like a mentor kind of thing. And so but we got really good at it because who can live off $1,500? So we had to quickly learn how to get as many as you could. And it was good. Yeah.
And how long did you do that for?
For a really long time. I've done it for like ever. So, but I
thought you're really good at door knocking though. Right?
Yeah.
And so now like broke down all the walls, right? This is like the back of your hand.
Yeah. Well, no, not always. Cause I still have to like pep myself up in the car. Cause sometimes people are mean. You'll get to the door and they're like, get a real job. And you're like, okay, I will.
So you're still door knocking.
Yeah.
Oh,
because
girl.
you can't, the people need you. Like not all the houses that I stop foreclosures do people lose their homes.
Yeah.
I stop them just to stop them sometimes.
That's cool.
Fun.
Because if you can, why wouldn't you? If you knew something that would make a homeowner put themselves in a better position, why can't we?
Yeah.
I had life hit me really hard. It hit me so hard. I had a hard time getting up. And so when I go to the doors, it's a different, I'm not, hey, can I buy your house? My heart is, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's my real estate tool bag. I've got all these crazy tools. There's like a hammer, real estate book, sub-2 contracts. Like there's all this stuff. Like, how can I help you? So,
do you have a good story that comes to mind of somebody you helped?
I have a bunch.
Can you pick one?
Okay.
You should write a book, maybe.
Oh,
yes.
What would be legal? Okay, so I've got 2 that come to my mind.
Okay.
One was a gentleman who must have become like a recluse. So he never answered the door. And it was a property in Norfolk, and it was this super cute townhouse. And it was probably $20K, maybe $30K to fix it up. Like it was a smoking deal. This is what they call the unicorns. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I am faced with this unicorn. And because I'm a cute girl, guess what? The door opens.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And so I get him to, we go and we start the process of kind of, because he's a recluse, he doesn't want to go out in public. Mm-hmm. And so then we would go and we would sit at this Panera Bread. And we would slowly kind of build our little bond. And so we would call the bank and figure out what we could do. And we got the reinstatement numbers. And we stopped the sale, and I get the property under contract. I actually got the property under contract before, but I'm sitting there with the contract that I would have taken home, and it would have been like the juiciest one ever. Like I would have been so happy. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the homeowner, and he goes, yeah, I was a merchant marine. I have all this money in my 401k. And I'm like, okay. So it was like, you want to see both sides going, say something. No, say something. No, walk away now. Like run. So the good side won, and I showed him how to get the money out of his retirement, put it towards his mortgage, and now he's living in the house with it paid off.
Oh, that's amazing.
He didn't lose it.
And he just had no idea he could even do that. Huh?
No, but you don't know until you're like in the industry. But no, did I walk away super sad and happy at the same time? Very awkward feeling. very awkward feeling where you're like, oh, I just lost the deal of my lifetime, and I did something really good. So which one? So you go to the door with a different heart, and I think it
shines.
And that's why you win, right? Because if you're in the right mindset and the right energy, things come back to you. You know what I mean? So that one, you help that person, and that put that good karma out in the universe.
Oh yeah,
come back to you.
Another good story. This is my favorite one, and I'll always tell this one. I put this on Facebook. So I get this property address. My husband sends me to the property address, and we're going to the auction. Like I'm going to bid at the auction, and sometimes before the auctions, you go and you check the houses to make sure nothing's happened. And I knock on this door, and this really sweet man answers. And I'm like, hey, can I check? Can I go inside? Can I see what's in there? I just want to make sure if I could, that I could win this bid. Like maybe if I see the inside of it, I can try to keep you in here longer. Like your house is going to sale in an hour. So I walk through it, and it's like immaculate.
In an hour. Did you catch that, girls? In an hour.
I knew nothing about the house. I knew nothing. And I'm like walking around the house, and he took really good care of it. Like he was painting everything, like making it so pretty. And I thank him, and I get in the car, and this little stomach goes, you can stop this. And what I, of course, was like, shut up. Like, no. So I fought with myself for a minute. And I go to the door, and I'm like, hey, do you trust me? And he goes, no. So we both get in my cart, and he didn't have a cell phone. He didn't have money for food. He had lost a bunch of family members to COVID. And so him and I are flying down to the courthouse, and I've got both of my phones. I'm like on the phone while I'm driving. Probably.
I've seen her do it. It's a little scary.
So we get to the courthouse.
I was in the passenger seat, but I survived.
And we get to the courthouse, and I'm, I'm on the phone begging them for the reinstatement number. Like, I can pay it right now. I can pay more. Like, what can I do to stop this? And long or the short, we get the sale stopped, and right in the nick of time. So I'm walking down the elevator to go bid, and it's Virginia Beach. So everybody and their mom is there.
And they're all really mad at you, right? Because
they're just sitting at me like, what the heck is she doing? And of course I've got my, my phone. I'm like, ah. So it's fun. I don't enjoy it all the time. It's really stressful, honestly, because you're acting as an impact shield for people in the worst positions of their lives. But I do find joy in telling stories about it later on after I cried.
Wait, so he was able to keep it, but you paid off?
No, so we kept it. We that time they wouldn't take. So when I'm on the phone with the bank, if there's something that the bank will do that the homeowner can stay, you do it as an investor. They're not going to make any money, but is it better for the homeowner?
Yeah.
So we do the right thing, and the right thing follows. So in that case, they were able to either give us a couple more days. And with that couple more days, I think he started a loan modification or something.
Okay.
So I will have to follow up with that story they go through the paperwork to be like, oh, this is what we did. Even filing a bankruptcy last minute. I've had people file bankruptcies last minute to stop it when there's nothing else that we can do, and we don't have the reinstatement numbers, because sometimes people don't come to their senses till 2 days before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it just doesn't feel real to them until
Or what are they going to do? They don't know what to do.
What do you do?
Yeah.
If your bills are stacking up and you don't have the money to pay them, what are you going to stare at them? You're going to open them, make yourself feel better.
Yeah, you just slowly stop opening your mail entirely because
every story is such a different story. You'll hear, cancers and people getting sick, people dying. One story was a family where there was it was a murder suicide, which has different rules when it comes to who inherits the property. So just, the craziest stories that you could ever, you'll come across everything, but I have fun with it.
Yeah.
I have fun with it. I still want to own a hospital.
Yeah, those are some pretty wild stories. Thanks for sharing.
Did you find that, did you ever go to a point where you were working with a homeowner through the regulatory system and going through like, these are the regulations that this bank, messed up on and didn't do or anything like that? Or is that
Oh,
just,
like an auditing of
Yeah.
No, I have heard stories though of that. So I know that there was a court case, I think somewhere in the Midwest that won that. So I haven't seen it, but I do know of it. I think I've only seen it once in my travels. And it was a $1 million house. The guy was super, super smart, and he had like eluded foreclosure forever. That was the only time I've ever heard of it.
Wow.
Oh gosh, he was hilarious. He like there's some of the higher end homes, you see people that are like smart, like not paying mortgage for 5 years.
How? Dude. We go like 6 months and they're ready to auction us off, you know?
Oh my gosh.
I think it depends on the state
Us
too,
normal
doesn't it?
people, you know? What?
It depends on the state too, I think. Some states just take longer.
Oh, really?
I think they were shorter numbers, and then once COVID hit, I think they gave us more time. Like everything's higher. The reinstatement
did change
numbers
a
are way
lot.
higher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So let's back up. Okay. Oh, go ahead, Sharon.
Kate. No, go ahead.
Well, I think I kind of deterred you from your story. So you were playing with garbage, then you were knocking doors.
So you play with garbage, and then you got your license, and then
I wish I had the picture of me. I was like on the side of the road. I must have been like 7 months pregnant, something huge, in like the middle of summer with like the sign that says free. Yeah, so I started, and then we got our, and then we were like, hey, we're gonna go to the beach and flip a couple houses. We'll flip like 8, and that didn't happen. It went to like some crazy high number. So we had
like hundreds or like 50 or
yeah, so it was high. We had a company that profited 2.2 million a year flipping homes.
flipping homes. That's amazing.
So mainly auction properties. So
you would buy them at auction and then flip them.
right. So we would attend all the auctions and we would flip them. So we would buy off flip numbers.
So is that kind of what primed you to get into then foreclosure specialist for stopping foreclosures?
No, because we were doing it before that.
Okay.
We just didn't know what it was. And then as I became an agent and a realtor and you learn all these other different things, and you end up going back to basics. So then we're in COVID times. We're at the auctions, right? We go to the property and there's 20 bidders for one property. And guess who wins? The one with the cheapest money, not me. I was standing in the corner like, hey guys. So finally I was like, you get beat up enough times, you're like, okay, fine. I'm going to get it before you get it. And then it was like, I would slowly just start making them disappear off the plate. The night before, I'd be like, what's going on?
You were the Cookie Monster.
That's right.
And then there was, and with the big company we had, family was involved. Like that's a whole nother episode. But I learned a lot. So I was given a dark box, and you learned a lot from it. I saw over the years as we were growing that company, like we went through these different processes, trying different things that worked and didn't work. And so now when I see stuff, I don't know if I want to ever grow a big company or if I want to just stay light and tight.
Yeah.
Did you have employees that were non-family members, or was it just?
Oh yeah, we got larger. We were from Virginia Beach up to Northern Virginia.
Uh-huh.
So and then slowly, when it started with me in a minivan full of 4 children getting our first house, that's how it started. They were like, it was like abandoned, and oh, that's a funny story.
Did you go knock the doors off for kids?
I did. Okay, so it was like our first like house that we got, and I think it was like a HUD home or something. But we got it during the owner occupant period, and so we released it because we were like, okay, that's not the right thing to do, and you're not supposed to get it. Like we have to wait for. Somehow we got it where it was you couldn't flip it or something. It wasn't in the right category, so we released it. But we went to go check the house out before we released it. And I've got the kids in the van and the house is abandoned. And they go, just stomp your feet as you go through the house because of snakes. And I'm like, what the? What? Pregnant minivan full of kids and stomping through the house. And that was that's how it started. And then I think we tried to buy a house off of Newport News and industrial. But we started with little ones and then grew. And then we started one little company and we grew to our next company. $10,000 is what we started with.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much was your first house? Do you remember how much that cost?
Oh, man. It was Wingfield Avenue, 1515 Wingfield Avenue, I think.
And how much did it cost?
It was horrible. It was like a Tic Tac box. And that was our first partnership. How much? I can go into so much detail. It'll get me in trouble. So I have to
okay, fair.
Before I say it. So this partner, it was like his first flip, but he had done some other stuff on other houses in the Midwest, but I don't know if we had known better, if we didn't know better. We were kind of like junior partners to like an older said our partners, because our bosses had ended up partnering with us. And so we were kind of had this junior type position over the years with it. So we would have this, and so we didn't have a ton of the decisions, but we did the work part of it. So and then we slowly started growing to where we were running all the numbers. My husband would run all of the numbers for the company. So he became super crazy with numbers and comps. And then I was like an everything tool. I did everything. So just enough to be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I did really good at agent stuff. And then I dropped myself. When we got hit rock bottom and I had that crazy year, I went into construction and I wanted to learn everything about construction. I wanted to know about all the numbers.
Okay. So when was that?
That was before the hotel. That was before the hotel and before the school.
Okay, wait a minute. When was the school and when was the hotel?
The school, that was my dream, and I got crushed.
Okay, wait. So you start a flipping company with these people.
We start a flipping company with people, but it's like going on vacation with people. Everybody wanted to go somewhere different.
So did that
so it didn't work out. It was with family. It was the horror stories you hear from. We end up in litigation. It's awful. Did
it go on for a couple years that you had that?
5 years. 5 years of litigation.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Oh wow.
No, wait. The litigation was 5 years, or that?
Yeah, just to dissolve the company. It took that long.
Oh my goodness.
How long were you doing that?
How long was the company operating?
Yeah.
The company was actually operating less time than we'd spent in litigation. Oh, that was crazy to think of. Yeah. I used to ask my attorney, I'm like, is there an award for staying in so long? Yeah, so it ended very poorly. And I'm going to say it. So during trial, they failed to enter the expert witness for trial. So when that happens, you have to ask the other side, hey, can we have this person? And they're like, no. So we ended up basically calling it quits. And then you get one more reshot at it. But that means that everything that you spent the 5 years doing starts the clock at zero again.
Oh, jeez.
So super awful. So my marriage during this time was just, you can imagine.
So more of the story, be very, very careful who you go into business with.
Your operating agreement is the most important thing. So do not get a boilerplate operating agreement ever, 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 ever. And try to keep as much control as you have. And wives, when you're marrying your husband, just because you're not on the mortgage, go on the deed. Go on the deed. So that no realtor tells you, what did she say? You're not on the deed. I was like, oh, these 6 children are nothing.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, I've got some stories, great stories. I don't know how much trouble I will get in though.
That's okay. Share them
so
all.
You flipped houses for a while.
So so then we went to construction, and I had a great time in construction because my dad did constructions. I really like construction. I have fun with it. It's like a CrossFit class you can't get out of.
So you were actually out there with the hammer and the
you
power
should see
tools.
her. Yes, she's got like content on her TikTok and Facebook
Wait,
and YouTube.
Were you wearing high heels and a mini skirt?
No, I would like cry because I would,
She's like wielding the sander for the floor. Like
it wasn't like, it was almost like out of
Check it out.
necessity, because it wasn't like out of like, hey, I'm enjoying this. It was like out of almost like necessity. So I went into like Airbnb. I went to try to see, okay, all these different pieces. Where's the piece that I love the most, the one that's going to make the most money, that I'm kind of like good at? And it seems to be the door knocking, even though the door knocking is, it's harder. Stopping foreclosures last minute is, you're walking into like the worst of people's lives. Yeah. And so you're taking that shielded, like you're taking that blunt.
Yeah.
Are they mean to you sometimes? Or are they nice? Or
everybody's always different. Everybody always handles stress differently. You see the people that open the door and they're like, yep, I'm ready, let's go. And then you have the people that are like unsure the whole time. And a lot of times it's family members that inherit houses and don't do what they need to do with paperwork.
Yeah. Because they don't know. I mean, there's so much about probate and even just burying someone that like until you go through that process, you just don't know. And so, yeah.
No, it's yeah, that's what I'm finding out recently, because I kind of went back in with a different heart. When you hit rock bottom and you go back up, you're like, okay,
yeah,
how can I help these people? What can I do to help these people? So I've learned more now, like stuff that I wouldn't touch before. Now I'm like, all right, I'll try that.
Why not?
It's that bad. Let's try that.
I mean, like, what's the worst that can happen? You know, it doesn't work out. Okay.
Right now I'm doing one that like 2 ex-wives and like someone like only turned the list of heirs in, but forgot like some of their children.
Oh.
So we're trying to figure out how to amend an error. And I'm like, how did you forget? What do you do?
Do you have an attorney that you work with for things like that?
I break attorneys.
Yeah.
No, I have great attorneys. I have such great attorneys. This one attorney told me that she couldn't work for me, or she couldn't do what we did this file one time, and she goes, the whole office was working on it for 2 days. We can't do this, because it was so short last minute that sometimes it's hard to find an attorney. So I've got one attorney that I love him. He may not love me. He may be like, oh man, here she comes again.
She's walking in the door.
I actually have 2 now. So I have a litigation attorney that I love, and then I have a real estate attorney that I love.
Nice. Awesome.
But he's like dual, so he can be like criminal if he needs to be.
Oh God. Too funny.
So yeah, but I love it.
So tell us about the school, right?
School that broke my heart.
Start to finish.
Yeah.
How did it come to your plate?
So a friend of a friend of a friend must have put me into a room, and I was put in this room with this older gentleman who was going through a divorce in like his late 90s, and he was going to foreclosure. And the bank basically said, hey, you got 2 hours to pay 10%, which was $88,000 in 2 hours.
Wow.
And I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, looking at the note, looking at the mortgage, looking at everything that I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, where's the value? Right? I know there's value. I had never done commercial. I had done the hotel, so I knew a little bit, but as far as like other businesses, I didn't know enough. And so it was like crash course. I knew from from the flipping company, but a flipping company is completely different than a daycare building and a school.
A little bit.
So then, you go, okay, we'll put somebody in that's that knows that field. That's where, and then how do you find that person?
Right.
You do not want me at a school. No. So we got the school, and as I'm doing it, they were going to auction it off. So while we're going to closing, they're like the lot lines, the lot itself was it was encroaching on the neighbors. both neighbors. And they weren't like little
Oh.
neighbors. They weren't like Bob the neighbor. It was like giant HOA association neighbor. So I wanted that stuff fixed. Like they were adjusting the lot lines while we were trying to close. So, and then they didn't want to sign an extension. And so we ended up in court. So we ended up in court after they tried to, so they decided to auction the property again. So I stopped one auction. I threw out that money. We stopped it. And then all of a sudden we have this big building. And now what do we do with it? Okay,
Right.
you know, do you flip it? Do you wholesale it out? And then I'm like, wait a minute, it's a school. Can I do this? Maybe.
Of course you can. Why not?
I feel like I can get. I know that I could get the building to shiny. I knew that, and I knew that, you know, as long as the credentials match, we can put everybody in. So long or the short, my aunt has a PhD in early childhood development and ran a large 500 daycare school. I had all the pieces. They all come together. We have a lender, so we go to court. We win the court case, and they gave me like 3 weeks to close. So
Oh, boy.
daycare building was, everybody said that they're lucrative, but I think finding the lending that we needed was harder than you thought. Like short-term hard money, I guess, for the school was harder. And then we kind of found one, but he needed 6 more days. And then I couldn't find transitional lending. So then we went to go bid and we lost it by $10,000 or like something crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
So you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
so I think so if the lady didn't perform today, I would have found out if I got it back. So if she couldn't perform, and I hope she does perform, but if she couldn't, I could have, but we'll see. But it's it would have fit 250 children.
Wow.
Yeah.
So and it back to the school, and then it's in a subsidy area, and so there was a need. Like
Yeah.
I keep bringing myself back to like, okay, where's the community need? Where's the need? We
Right.
got all this real estate, you know, during COVID, hard money guys gave out flips for all these old, ugly houses because that's what the inventory, you know, dictated. And then they didn't
Right.
move like they should have. Where'd they go to? Why can't we use those for crisis homes or group homes like you do?
Right.
I mean, how many people need sobriety homes?
Right.
Yeah.
So are you
Yeah.
inspired to go find another building for a school now that you have
Yes.
your
So if anybody wants to do a school with me or a little mini hospital, call me.
Wait. Oh my gosh. So tell us the hotel story.
God, the hotel.
She's like, oh God, no.
Flashbacks. So they need to do a Netflix series on
Oh no. On what?
they need to call it like hotel people.
Oh yes.
So there's
Yeah.
people that like they actually are comfortable and they're happy living in hotels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they moved to all the different hotels, and during this hotel it was coming out of COVID. So we were learning how to evict people from
Right.
hotels
Right.
because they don't fall in long term, but they don't fall in short term.
Right.
So it was like so because COVID made it longer. So cockroaches falling from the ceiling.
Okay, wait, how did you get this hotel? And why did you get a hotel with
Yeah.
cockroaches?
Yeah. Where'd the lead come from?
So I'm a smart girl,
No.
and I would rather jump in and learn off somebody else's money than my own.
Yes.
And I don't think I could have paid for that education. Like, I don't think I could have paid somebody enough money to learn what I did in that amount of time.
Yeah.
So,
So what'd you do? Where'd you find it? Do tell.
how much trouble am I going to get in? Okay.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so it was a friend who had gotten the hotel, and I didn't know too much of the finances, but I knew she called me and she was like, "Hey, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Okay, here I come." So we went in and we started with like the bottom floor and just kind of gutted, like just cleaned out like a Band-Aid. So imagine cleaning out a Band-Aid. So I had one side of the hotel that was like super cleaning. I called it like the nice, like, so there was like a quiet side, and then there was the rough side. And the rough side was like prison yards at times. It was literally like walking through a prison yard.
Oh no.
Like, they did not like me. And I had a shaved head, so they really
You
didn't
were
like
the
me.
warden.
They didn't know if I. Oh, they hated me. They literally hated me. And so when you would just see crazy stuff, you would see like kids not in school and fights and stuff that shouldn't be. And so the police were constantly there.
So this is can I just clarify? This is a friend's hotel that you were helping with, and why did she buy it?
She got a really good deal.
Yeah, prison yard.
Got a really
Prison
good
yard deal.
It was a smoking deal.
It was the goal. Well, like, what was the goal to turn the whole thing over?
So the goal was to get her to the space to refinance her out. Probably like the Burr method or something,
That was your goal.
My only goal was to get it pretty.
Okay.
Get it rent ready. That was my only goal. So whatever it took to get rent ready. So working through the night, late hours. And then while I was doing that, I was also like getting people's towels. It was crazy. And like hotel managers have to deal with so much. They have to deal with like dead bodies. It's like a normal thing.
Hotel managers, Christina. I don't.
Am I not allowed to?
You can say it.
So yeah, it's like normal because that's what happens. Like people, that are sad and lonely. That's the reality of the job. So, oh yeah, the stories I could tell.
So what's going on with the hotel now?
It looks beautiful. I just drove by it. She just got her new little sign, and it looks really, really nice. I know that they were like trying to clean it out at the same time. There was like Airbnbs, which was super hard. Because like the brand new renovated rooms would be, parked next to the ones that were still getting renovated. And so they would walk up to the room and have to walk past, it's a true story.
So in the end, has it been a good investment?
I think she's doing great. I think a hotel is like a money printer. I think hotels are money printers, especially if you get enough rooms.
Even if there's cockroaches in the cracks. Huh? Are the cockroaches all gone now?
Sometimes they're cute after a while. No, they're not. No, when you do cockroaches, you have to like do the rooms above it and like below it because they like scatter.
Uh-huh.
I want my dog to be like a cockroach, like never dies.
You what?
I feel like cockroaches are like power animals, kind of. If you've ever had to kill them, they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. So, yeah. And then the bigger the building, the harder it is to get them. So my poor little Terminex guys were just, they were there all the time.
So how's the neighborhood there? Like it was bought in really poor condition. You guys renovated it.
It was like the eyesore. It was the eyesore. It was the eyesore of
it was. Okay. So that's what made it a good buy then, right? Because she bought like the worst property.
She probably bought it like the lowest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it was, but what she had to go through to get there, I don't think I would wish upon. Because it's a whole, and then you're dealing with people that are in sometimes not the greatest situation. So you've got a big heart. Do you kick them out on the streets because they can't pay?
Yeah.
During, very sad. So, our cities and hotel, like our cities and our people, like our human, I don't know what the human resources, I guess is what it is. They need us. They need real estate investors, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's such a housing need.
What's going on with Sharon?
Sharon, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I hit the mute button when my dog started
You've been trying to talk.
You just drive up in Newport News, up Jefferson or Warwick. There's probably a dozen of these motels and hotels that are just run down and empty. Either they're empty or they're full of just, people on their last bit of life. You know what I mean? Like they're at the end of their rope, And I think you're absolutely right that those type of things, if we can renovate them into housing for people like that, and somehow get, subsidies or like you're talking about insurance, earlier before we went
Crisis
live.
stabilization homes.
Exactly. And,
No, there's a need.
such a big need, and it depends on the city for sure. But, I can think Portsmouth, Newport News, both would benefit from that type of thing,
How big is your metro area?
7 cities.
Like a million plus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just wondering if it works in smaller markets, because I'm like in the whole county I'm in, there's maybe 500,000 people.
I think if there's a DHS office, there's a need. If there's a Department of Human Services, there's a need.
Yeah.
There's somebody who needs something. They're the housing list, and even for landlords. So but you need the lending. Where's our lenders?
Yeah. Who does lend on that type of thing? That's a very good question. Because you need the short term for the rehab, and then the DSCR,
or you would just
long-term commercial,
long-term private money investor that wanted to not only own the building but also do like an equity split, or maybe he just wants to own the building. She
Right.
or she
Right.
Yeah.
Funding. It could be a she.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So you just, and I think it's the hotel was a good practice round. There was 120 rooms. We started with the bottom floors of each one. So
Hey, I've got one in Arizona if you want it.
Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff in Arizona.
No, I have a motel under contract right now.
You have a
want
motel under contract?
it? Yes, girl.
How many rooms?
47.
Does it have cockroaches?
Yes, or are they just like, is there cockroaches?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
cockroaches.
Bonus.
Probably. It's
Cockroaches.
like Christina, the BPO on this is 6.95 million, and the purchase price right now to an end buyer is 1.25.
So 1 million in. Yes, I will. Who's got the money? Whoever. We'll go. Sharon, we'll go.
Mini hospital.
I've got 2 contractors that quoted the rehab, one at 500, one at 600,000. So you could be all in at 2.5 mil at an almost $700 million property.
I think that's gorgeous because everything's vacated at one time. So when you go in, it's like the McDonald method. Somebody's on tomatoes, somebody's on paint, somebody's on the bun, and the bun guy doesn't touch the hamburger guy's meat.
I love that, the McDonald's method.
Yeah, so just McDonald's it out. So paint's done all in, like you just go in like it's
right, in a row, right?
Like
right down the row, right?
That way one guy's there for like 2 and it's just done. And then you have this and everything is back to back. No, who's got the money? Bring the money in.
Exactly.
There's people out there for sure.
What can we name it?
It's already named. Girl, I'll send you the link.
I would like to open.
It's a historical house. I mean, a historical motel called the Arcadia Lodge. It's on Route 66.
McMinimums did it in Portland.
Let's do it.
Do you guys remember the McMinimums out there? Have you guys been to like one of them out in
a long time ago?
They would take like schools and stuff and turn them into like little breweries and bars.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You could stay at the school. Yeah.
That's super cool. So what are you up to next? Oh, sorry.
That was my question exactly, Sharon.
I'm open.
You're open.
You gotta have a plan, girl.
I'm open. No, there's this little store that I want. I'm open. I'm looking to see the school was a big deal. I think realizing that I like other businesses and I like the way that the numbers break down, and I like feeling if there's a need, why can't we fill it?
Yeah.
Like, why can't everybody do the right thing and make money at the same time? Yeah, I don't know. A hospital.
Hospital.
I want a hospital. I don't.
She thinks big, doesn't she, girls?
I have no idea whose idea it was. But yeah, I want a hospital. And we'll just start with, starting maybe with a group home and working my way out. Right now, I'd like to find some lenders that want to let me use their money to build a hospital.
Wait, when you say hospital, are you talking full-fledged ER?
No, I'm talking like a mental health hospital, somewhere where, moms going through postpartum can come, or, people that have to reset their lives because something has happened and they have to reset and there's nowhere, instead of resetting at the electrician's house,
Yeah.
Secrets.
We're not talking
go
about that.
somewhere where you can grow and, flourish, that you can get equipped with everything that you need. That would be, how cool would that be? Then we're doing both. Then it's like an Airbnb and it's like, it's the same thing. It's Airbnb.
Like a spa getaway, but revamped mental health. Yeah, I love it.
It's just Airbnb.
Is that something, Christina, that you're kind of like focused on, like where you live currently? Or are you looking like whatever kind of thing?
That's like a cloud dream. I thought that I was going to be busy with this school for a little bit. I definitely was not anticipating. I didn't think I was going to fall out on that school. Did not think I was going to fall out on that school. And having the lender like 2 days before to say, hey, I need 6 more days. And it's so easy. It's transitional funding. We use it for residential housing all the time. Why is commercial any different?
Right.
And I wasn't none of my investor friends were doing commercials. I had one friend.
Yeah.
I had one friend that was doing a daycare. One.
Yep.
So will you talk to your friends that don't do daycares and only do residential? Who do you ask?
Yeah.
Talk to yourself in the closet.
That's where the hospital comes in.
Well, I think that's the value of being part of a larger community, like Sub2 or like Owners Club or that type of thing, and having the people at your fingertips that may be operating in that type of a space,
or at least somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm not going to miss on my second shot.
Exactly.
There'll be another building like that, and we can find them all the time. I always think, oh my gosh, this is a once in a lifetime deal, and then in 2 weeks I'm like, oh, just kidding. Falling in love every day with a new house.
Oh, I know.
You think you're going to go out and knock some more doors and stop some more foreclosures?
Oh, I'm going to keep knocking doors. I've been building a little team, and so we're slowly heading up north. Right now, I'm in need of short sale negotiators. Bing, bing, bing. I need short sale negotiators. I need kind of gator funding, but it's got to leave escrow, guys. It's not lending if it doesn't leave escrow. It's got to get out of escrow. We got to actually reinstate stuff. And I need lending, but we're going to slowly try to help more families go into foreclosure. Every single time I see an auction date set, that's somebody that their whole life is going to go upside down. And if you knew, what am I going to ignore it?
Yeah. Are you seeing more of that now than a year ago, 2 years ago?
It's increasing. I think it's increasing. I think that the houses that we're seeing, we had like a round of like, it seemed like all the homeowners were gone. And now we're seeing I've seen a bunch of big houses going. As a realtor, I haven't seen short sales in a while, and they're starting to come back, I think.
Yeah.
So dust out those negotiators. They'll be like, whoa.
Exactly.
And what does that entail? Calling the banks?
I think they call the bank. And so they're not realtors, but they're not realtors, and they're not bankers. They're people that specialize in it. So I don't think that's me.
No.
I don't. Or it could
be. I think it could be your next thing.
I have this headset that I wear to make myself look cooler. It's hands-free.
She's in her office by herself making phone calls.
Everybody else there makes fun of me when I wear it.
I love it.
But yeah, so that I don't know. I would like to do something. We got all this talent. Let's see what we got. What's going to happen? I'm going to run across something that I can't say no to.
Exactly.
Like a grab bag. Every day is different.
Exactly. Are you rehabbing anything lately?
No, I have not tried to. I don't want to.
I don't want to rehab anymore. Yeah.
I've ripped off so many nails. Thinking to myself, why am I so cute in the crawl space?
Yeah.
I do enjoy it, though. It is nice turning something ugly pretty. It's really cool when you actually know what you're talking about when you look at a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It is really, really cool when you're standing there and you're like, oh, wait, that's wrong. There's an empowerment that comes when you start learning because you know what you're talking about. And then when other people try to beep you, you know that they're, the pricing's off.
Right.
Especially as a girl in this industry, men sometimes will be like,
Yep.
and I'm like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
Charge me 4 pieces.
Yep.
So, and I got the crawl spaces. Like I got so many 1910s that were awful. I got 1910s. I got knob and tube. One time.
You're talking about the year of the house, 1910.
Yeah, so I left a courthouse one time and I bought this trap house and I bought it for $44,000. And the other investors were making fun of me when I left. Like they were like, Christina, what did you buy? And I'm like, oh, I was so excited. I was like, look, they finally let me have one.
And how did that project turn out? Were there dead bodies?
It was amazing. I come up in the area, it back to the train tracks. So during the showing, the train would go through. The train would go through, and so it would shake the house. But the guy who bought it absolutely loved trains in the area.
Nice.
So it was like nostalgic to him. So I was like, "Oh, you love it? Let's do it."
It takes all types, right?
And then that kind of changed then the neighborhood started hitting over $200,000 on their houses, and it changed. I had like the realtor neighborhood that nobody wanted. I had like the one that was like just left.
Yeah.
So when I went in and I was in rock bottom, I got to go be a realtor, and I got what was left, and it made me the toughest agent. It made me the toughest. Every single time I had a challenge, it just made me better at my job.
Yeah.
Did that 1910 house turn out to be profitable?
Yes. Although it was blood, sweat, and tears because it was
How
also
did those investors who were laughing at you, right?
Oh yeah, because then you're like, okay, guys, ha ha ha. And so over time, I think they slowly
earned their respect.
Yeah, and I don't want to tell everybody's secrets, but no, I earned when the school was going to auction, there was 4 bidders there. 2 of the other bidders go, Chris will buy this for you.
Yeah.
They're competition. It says something when your competition says, hey, we think you kind of look like you could do it.
Yeah.
So that was cool to hear because I feel like I earned those. I earned it. Like I feel like I went through the ringer. At one point, we used to stand at the courthouse steps, and the people that we were in court with would bid over the top of me to make sure that I never got a house.
That's awful.
But it happens all the time, and a lot of times nobody says anything, but we made it through. I learned so much. I got to spend time with my dad that I would have never had doing those houses. So even though they completely sucked and it was like cold and I didn't wear makeup forever, and then I started looking like a contractor.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, I started smelling like a contractor.
Oh no.
Then I see all these cute realtors and I'd be like, oh, you guys having drinks at lunch? Digging out the crawl space. So, I'm laying vapor barrier.
And you didn't have a beer and a cigarette with you?
No. I wish. So you learned all these little pieces and it starts adding up to cookies. It's cookies. I got the ingredients to cookies one by one, but it didn't all seem like a cookie. If you eat the baking soda by itself, it tastes like beep. Mm-hmm. So you got to mix it all together to make everything. So I've just I've done a lot. I haven't done, I'm trying to think of something that I want to do. I started doing probate. Pardon?
You want to buy a hospital?
I really want to own a hospital.
Maybe one will fall in your lap soon.
I'm going to cross my feet. I believe that I'm going to get one. I think it's going to happen.
What would it look like? Let's dream a little. Like what would that, how would it actually function? And like, how would the rooms be set up?
How many rooms?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even thought that far ahead. I sometimes see the shape of the building. I'll be fine with a little. So start visualizing.
Yes, that's how you make it happen. You start visualizing like in real concrete terms. Do it. That's
See, I thought it was the school. I really thought I had that school. Maybe I get a call tomorrow. Maybe they'll call me tomorrow.
Well, she had till today, right? That's awesome.
So yeah, the school and then the hotel. The hotel, I don't know if I would want to do the hotel again. That wasn't as fun as it could have been.
Yeah. Is the person that bought the school turning it back into a school?
I have no idea. I gave her my card. And I was like, hey, let me share at least. I mean, I've been working on this for 9 months. You want some information?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm a pretty good digger. She did not call me.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
she will.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't know if I might have been a little aggressive at the sale. It's competition. You have to be.
You have to be. You're absolutely right.
They were like auctioning it off without telling them that there's a giant thing in the back, like running through the neighbor's property. Like they somehow cleared. Yeah.
What kind of thing?
So I learned about quieting titles. Do you guys know what quieting titles means?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had no idea. So yeah, foreclosure guys do it all the time.
And tell us what that means.
It basically means if you're trying to get your money from somebody and they go to foreclosure, they can just tell you to shh. They still have to reach out to you, and it's still a process. But my question is, how quickly can they do it? What's the time frames on it? Then I also want to know, like, what's the time frames for the money that gets, like, if they sell a property on the low? You can always learn. I've learned I know nothing. I've been doing this forever and I know nothing. Like you can always learn more. But like what happens?
How does the quiet title play? And just for people who are watching so they can understand that, like if you as an investor buy a foreclosure, when and how does the quiet title come into play?
So for the quiet title kind of came into the play with the school because I filed a lawsuit trying to because I was saying, hey, we had a contract. You didn't perform like the contract was supposed to. We put a big deposit down, where's my money? So when we filed all those those papers, it kind of clouded the title. So you would think that, hey, the reason we do that is to secure our position. So even with contracts that we wholesale, if they're a great deal, we're gonna record those contracts, right? Because how often can somebody bump me out? Right. I mean, there's some slippery door-to-door salesmen. This is a competitive market. There's somebody who's going to outsmart you. Yeah. I paid a $30,000 fee to learn this.
Yep.
Thanks, Matt Lasser. No, I actually called him the next week and I was like, thank you so much. I was really mad last week, but this week I'm happy. So I learned how to, record your contracts. So I had gotten this property under contract and I ran title and I got my buyer and everything was great and it was going to closing. And then, title comes back and they go, hey, there's a contract on here. And I was like 6 months ago. Oh, I know this guy. Let me just call him. No big deal. So I call him and he's like, no, I'm not letting it go. I have a buyer. And I'm like, I don't care if you have a buyer. I have a buyer. So long and the short, because he recorded his contract, it stuck. And I had to honor his contract. So we had to play by his rules. And his rules were a little stricter than my rules. Like my rules were a lot funner. The game would have been funner. For me.
It always is with you.
And I had to give half my commission to Matt. And I was really sad about it, but it came into play the next week because the next week I used it it was like a cool tool. I was like, oh, ninja weapon.
Exactly.
I called Matt and I said, Matt, I just wanted to thank you. I was so pissed off at you last week, but now I just literally you just made me how much now. So recording the title so we cloud them. So, but in this case, I recorded the title hoping to stop it so they couldn't sell it out from underneath me. Well, guess what? If it goes to foreclosure, bye, Chris. Yeah. You got to file another lawsuit. So it's quite the little, it's reindeer games.
Yeah.
I wish I would have became attorney.
You still can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're young.
Your next goal.
Schools. Awesome. Both at the same time.
Well, we are almost at the top of the hour. See, I told you it goes back fast.
How embarrassed. No.
So, and I'm not sure what's going on with the studio, why we didn't have a countdown, but I don't have an end either. So the only way for me to end this to actually close it out. So I'm going to say goodbye. That means we won't have an after party, girls.
Oh,
But
So Sharon,
goodbye.
I sent a text. Why don't we log out and then we can log back in so we can quickly kind of
We can
recap.
do that, but I definitely need to close this down
We're
in order to
taking-
say
we're
goodbye
taking
to
it
the
over to the
live,
party.
so that way our after party is not broadcast.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. That was awesome.
thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
on,
Christina.
I'm
Christina.
so glad that you came on. And wait, one more time before we end it. If you need to talk to Christina, there's her number. If you need to reach her on social media, wait, let me put that again at the top real quick. She's on IG. She's on Facebook. She is on TikTok. Girl, you should see her TikTok reels. They are hilarious.
Oh no. Facebook pays me. You just gotta keep going.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, everybody, if we're going to close that out, we'll see you later. Good night. Bye.
Bye.